It's time to check your money with America's Money Maven, Vicki Brackens. Vicki Brackens is the president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a registered representative of LPL Financial, member SIPC. Vicki, good October morning to you.
Can you believe it?
October 1st, baby. It's Libra season.
And it's my season.
Yeah, you got a milestone birthday coming up soon, huh?
Hey, don't be, putting them announcements out there. But yes, it's my season. Let's just say that.
I just said milestone,
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't say which one.
That's true. You didn't say which one. Okay, so I'll let you go with that.
Yeah.
But anyway, George, you know what? I need some sound effects. So I'm gonna do two things that just gonna surprise you to no end.
Okay, what sound effects do you need, Vicki?
Okay, the first one is gonna be a cheering effect, and the second one is gonna be a drum roll.
You gotta let a brother know.
Okay, so here we go.
All right, so we did applause. This is applause, right?
Yes, this is applause. You have something in that machine?
I'm ready. I got you. Yes.
Okay. All right. So before I forget, I want to say this. I need you to share and subscribe. I said share
and subscribe
to this segment and to all of our segments that we have concerning your financial well-being. But be sure to share and subscribe this segment with all your friends and all your people that you have connected on your Instagram, your social media, all those types of things. So go ahead and cheer, George. And the second thing is this: I need a drum roll.
All right.
Now,
wait.
You got a drum roll?
I don't have a drum roll.
Okay.
Wait, yes, I do.
Do it on the desk, the old-fashioned way. All right, let's go drum roll.
Will a rim shot happen? Will a rim shot work?
That works. Okay.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, so here we go, George. I don't do this very often, but we need to thank our friends. And I'm going to stop for a moment here to encourage everyone here in Syracuse to take a moment on October 6th at 7:30 to go over to the Palace Theater and thank our friends. And the friends happen to be Acute Inflections. They will be performing at the Palace Theater. And here's why I call them our friends. If you know, we have a real big supporter who comes into Syracuse every year, Antoinette Montague. And she introduced me to Acute Inflections. And they stepped up to the plate back in the middle of COVID when we couldn't go out and we couldn't see each other. We had a special series, if you remember, George, called Music and Your Money.
Right.
Well, Acute Inflections was one of the groups that made sure that we had beautiful jazz to share with our audience during that time period. And they are here live on the 6th of October at the Palace Theater at 7:30. And I'm encouraging everybody, if you haven't gotten your tickets already, please go out and get your tickets there at the Palace Theater. I think they're on Eventbrite, and make sure that we give them a warm welcome to the Syracuse community for all they did for us during the middle of COVID. Okay. Now, George, here's the next thing. You probably remember, because we've been together for a long time. But I continue to say everything is connected.
You do.
Okay, continue to say that. Well, we're going to look at some things that are starting to show itself again and talk about some of the connections that are there. And here's what I mean. There was in a magazine recently online called Rethinking 65. And I know some of y'all going like, Vicki Brackens, you read magazines to talk about 65? And George talking about milestone birthdays. But anyway, it's called Rethinking 65. And they reprinted a survey that was recently done by Rowe Price. And here's what the survey said. It said that right now, there has been a surge in emergency savings dwindling out of 401ks. And that is not good. Okay?
No.
That is not good at all. Here's what the recent survey findings were, which is a real troubling type of finding. 70% of participants who they surveyed have failed to save the 6 months worth of emergency expenses that we always talk about. Did you hear
Yeah.
me? 70%. And 46% or less have $1,000 saved for unexpected costs.
$1,000.
46% of the people that they surveyed who are participating in 401ks have less than $1,000 saved for emergency purposes. So they were really concerned about, well, what are the reasons for this low savings rate? And what they found out was credit card debt, mortgages, and car payments have made it impossible or very difficult for them to save the needed 6 months of expenses that we always talk about as being critical to your financial stability. The other thing on this is even bigger, George, that they found out is that loan upticks were observed across all age brackets, but however, individuals between the ages of 50 and 59 are the largest borrowers right now as far as 401k loan balances. And this is really starting to approach the kind of consistency or inconsistency, I should say, that we saw in the lowest periods of saving, which was in 2020. Now, everything is connected, right? If we continue to see this type of drain on 401k balances and low savings rates and elevated inflation rates and elevated credit card debt, what do you think that's a foreboding of, George?
Recession.
It is a recessionary process. So here, folks, listen, we've been talking over and over again over the weeks. The fact that the consumer is still holding strong within all things that have taken place over the last 3 years. But this is a foreboding of a negative turn in the economy. So what I am saying is as your friend, as the friendly neighborhood advisor would say, or as your American money maven would say, you got to stop. You've got to stop right now and shore up your house. Stop and look at what you're spending. Stop and do an actual, not in my head, but an actual budget, and look at what our expenses are, not what we think they are on paper, but what's actually happening, and find ways to cut back and take that money that you're cutting back with and apply it to your emergency savings immediately. Because if you're starting to borrow at 50 and 59 years old, between 50 and 59 years old, from your 401k balances, what is going to be there when you get ready to retire 4, 5, 6 years later? George, tell me.
Ain't nothing gonna be there.
Okay.
Or there'll be not what you think should be there. Put it that
right,
way.
not what you planned or expected to be there.
Right.
What will also start to happen is that as those loan balances start to roll up and accumulate, we'll start to see also defaults on loans.
Yeah.
And when you default on a 401k loan, everybody says, well, I'm just paying myself back. Yes and no. Because when you default on a 401k loan, what you may not realize is that you create a taxable event, which means you now have a tax bill.
And a penalty, right?
And a penalty, depending on your age, when this default happens.
Right, if you're over the threshold, yeah.
Okay. If you're over the threshold, but you're going to have a tax and a tax penalty that you were not planning for. And so everything is connected, starts to become a snowball of events that we just don't, first of all, we don't want to have it happen at any point in time in your career, but especially if you're between 50 and 59, we do not want to see this happen at the end of probably what's going to be your last 5 to 7 years of your working career. What does it say? We need to stop. We need to stop right now and spend some time really pulling apart what we are spending and how can we cut back, readjust, and make sure that we have everything in line to create our emergency funds, and to, if you have 401k loan balances, get those paid off as quickly as possible. But even better, if you don't have them, make sure that you don't create new loan obligations against your 401k anytime in the near future. Now, George, I know I've got some people right now saying, Vicki Brackens, do you know how much eggs cost?
Okay.
Right? Well, they cost half as much as they did a year ago, by the way. But I also appreciate the fact that gas prices have gone up. And I appreciate the fact that when you go and you buy bread, it feels like the loaf may still cost the same, but there's only half as much bread in the package.
Oh, there's all kinds of carton
All
shipping.
kinds of things that are happening.
Yeah.
I understand. I did my shopping myself today. As far as, because I like to do it online, as you know, George. And I'm looking at
I was looking at
quantities.
this like, what you mean you went? But I understand.
Okay, I get up in the morning and I click through, so when I come back in the afternoon, it's there at my house. But when you click through and you look at quantity and size, I understand that those things have happened. But it might be time for Vicki Brackens included for us to stop and assess what we are buying, how much we are buying, and do we really need everything that we're buying at this point in time? Because the things like long-term, say, subscriptions, maybe it's time to start looking at, maybe we don't need 5 streaming channels. Maybe we only need 3.
Right.
Okay? Because, those things tend to creep up. But we've got to do some things, because this is a foreboding. This is like what they call a canary in the coal mine. Or you remember that old song, George, them bones, them bones? Am I way too old for you? Do you know that song?
Yeah, for that one, yeah. But anyway. I mean,
how everything is connected. Okay.
I've heard something like that. So
you've heard? Oh, you never heard the thigh bone connected to the knee bone?
Oh, I heard that. The thigh bone connected to the knee bone, the knee bone connected. Yeah, I heard that.
Okay, all right. Then all of those things are examples of things being fully connected. Because what's next is default rates. And default rates are damaging in ways that you cannot imagine, and very, very costly to unwind. All right, George, do you have any questions before I go?
I mean, I think it's quite clear, Vicki, what you're saying to us is we've gotten into sort of a getting away from the habits that create good savings. And so we want to return to that. No, you didn't say that. You know what you said?
No,
you said stop.
I said stop.
Right. I'm like making it like, get it right. No, you said stop.
No, I said stop.
Stop. That's what you said.
Yes, I did.
I have questions. I think that's pretty clear.
Okay, all right then. But here's the one thing that was in the report that was a silver lining. I always like to come back and make sure we have a silver lining.
Oh, yeah, right. Sure.
Even though loan rates are up, and particularly in the age category of 50 to 59, savings rates, meaning the average deferral rate, is still holding at 8.5%. The deferral rate, is still holding at 8.5%. And that is slightly higher than it was prior to the pandemic. So I'm glad to hear that as far as the deferral rate into the 401ks. But if you're deferring 8.5 and you're taking it right back out in a loan, where is the progress? Is the question.
All right.
All right. So at this point in time, I'll say if you have any questions, give me a call at area code 315-930-4499 or reach out to us at info@Brackens, BRACKENS, FSN.com. And I'll say at this point in time, George, our plate is full.
All right. Vicki Brackens is the president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and the registered representative of LPL Financial, member SIPC. She is America's money maven.